Welcome into the Greater Texas Ford Dealers inaugural Female Athlete of the Month. From Texarkana to El Paso, the Panhandle to San Angelo, the Permian Basin to East Texas, Waco, Wichita Falls to Lubbock, and many points in between. We celebrate the remarkable achievements of female high school athletes based on performances on and off the field and courts. From Class 6A to private schools, it's the Greater Texas Ford Dealers Female Athlete of the Month. Serenity now, Serenity now. Joining me now, the great Sereniti Collins of Texas High out there in Texarkana. She's our Class 5A Greater Texas Ford Dealers Female Athlete of the Month. Well, Sereniti, so great to celebrate your prowess out there. You do it all. What did you think when you heard that you were the best in Texas?
I was very shocked because at my young age, winning that big award, it's crazy. It's mind blowing.
Well, it's kind of mind-blowing what you've been able to do. I mean, you're such a speed demon there in track and field. You literally qualified in the regionals in 5 totally different events: relays, 100-meter dash, the 400, the long jump. The list goes on and on. How are you able to pull that off?
It's really just keeping myself focused and always making sure that my relationship with God is right. It keeps me bounded and keeps me head on straight.
I think about those track events, and I know how those track meets go. The events are so close to each other. How are you able to pull that off, where you're doing the long jump and then you got to do the relays and then the sprints right after that? I mean, that's just a lot of events at the same time.
Yeah, you just got to stay prepared. Like even if one event is going on at the same time as the other, you just have to you have to be able to do 2 things at once.
Well, it's very impressive. And you're only a sophomore. Now, I know your freshman year, you suffered a knee injury where you had a crack in your kneecap and were unable to run track for the track season. What was that like for you to go through, and how did you get through that adversity to be even stronger than you are then?
I think it was very it was a lesson. I think it was like basically like mainly it was like something that I really needed to get through. I needed to go through that to be where I am today.
Well, you've been playing basketball since the 3rd grade, and you're spectacular out there. You made the varsity team your freshman year, which is a very rare feat. How did you pull that off, and did it even surprise you that you made the team, especially at a
Um
school like yours that has so many
yeah.
world-class athletes?
It really did surprise me because I'm the type to not get down on myself, but I don't see myself as, being that great of a player. So when I did get earn the varsity seat, it was very, very rewarding.
Well, I've seen those videos of you, and you have that track speed, and it's fun to watch it on the basketball court. And you're a speed demon out there, man. You just get out there and you steal the ball and you go coast to coast for the most. Is that the thing that you enjoy the most about basketball, is stealing it?
I, yes, I do. I enjoy just running past people. It's fun.
Do you feel like it's such an advantage for you?
It is, but it can also be a disadvantage because sometimes it's really hard to control my speed while also having the ball in my hand.
Well, I know that you've always played with older girls. Your older sister was a great basketball player, and you played with her and her friends. Do you think that helped you in your basketball development, playing with the older girls?
It did because when you play with older girls, you really you bring that on to you playing with the younger kids also. So you're already at an advantage when you play with
So what's the lifetime series between you and your sister?
it. We go head and head. We go at each other all the time. But it's competitive, but it makes us both better in the end.
So you're better, right? You got more wins against her.
Yes.
And there's a rumor about you that that you love track and field, but you don't like to run. What in the world's going on with that?
I I don't like to run, but I love the competition of track and field. It keeps me, I don't know how to explain it, but it's very exciting. But I don't like to run at all.
When you look at these two sports, basketball and all these track events that you excel in on such a state level, I know you're only a sophomore, but when you think ahead to your college days and playing in that next level, which sport do you think you like the most, and which is the one you'd like to play when you get to college?
I like basketball the most. It's always been my first love and it always will be.
Well, your dad is a very decorated athlete, and I know he's very famous for being a part of that Saratoga Bulldogs team there in Arkansas
Yes.
when they won the state championship back in 1998. Do you ever hear about those glory days from him? Have you seen the ring?
I have not seen the ring actually, but I do hear about those glory days all the time.
Now, he was one heck of a player. I know he could score all over the place. What are the biggest lessons you have heard from him for your basketball game?
One of the things he always tells me is if I can't control myself, then I can never control anybody else. So as long as I have myself under control, then I can control everybody around me.
That is really great advice. And I mean, I'm just picturing your family. You know, your younger brother is a football stud. He's 6 feet tall already. What
Yeah.
are the family gatherings like? I feel like it's just nonstop competition going on.
It is. Even with like even when playing like board games, it's always competitive.
Well, I hear your father and your mom are your best critics. And after all your games, you guys kind of have a little critique session and you go over your game. What are those like?
Those are sometimes those can get very emotional because sometimes it's like sometimes you don't want to hear the criticism, but you really need to. And even though I know they're right, I don't really want to hear it, but I always use it as my advantage for the next game.
Well, you're such a well-rounded player. I mean, you can shoot. You're a great passer. We already talked about your defense. You love to steal the ball. What is the one thing that you like to really hang your hat on as far as your game goes?
Defense. I love playing defense. It's so amazing.
You know, it almost feels like you kind of, take the heart out of your competition because you steal it and then you turn it into points on the other side. Do you feel like
Right.
it's such a mood changer when you're able to do those kinds of things?
It is. It changes the pace of the game also, and also changes like if you're down, it helps your team get back to that up scoring. Like you get excited about the game.
Serenity, tell me about some of the players that you really enjoy going to battle with.
I really enjoy going to battle with Taryn because she's very like she's taller than me, a lot taller than me, and she's also like a lot thicker and stronger than me. So it makes me have to work harder. And also Bree because she's also fast with the ball like I am. So it's better competition.
You got to be careful with Taryn, though. She doesn't push you around, right?
No.
Well, I know basketball for you is year round. You play AAU basketball. You're on a team that plays out of Nashville. You got some cool twins that are buddies of yours that you play with for so many years. Why do you do that team?
I choose that team because it's a lot. It's mainly like God first focus. So we have like Bible studies and stuff like that. But it's also very competitive and it's fun.
What is it about tournament basketball and traveling around and playing all these teams from all over the country that makes your game better?
Because you get to when you go farther, teams get better. So you get a lot more exposure, and you also get to compete with those players that aren't on a higher level than you.
Does the physicality and speed help your game?
It does. Like it really does. Because basketball it's a physical sport. Like you're always gonna be touched, pushed around. You have to be able to like stay sturdy. And also being able like my speed really helps me because sometimes when I it is in trouble, I can just blow by the person. It makes it better.
Well, it really feels like all those little experiences add up to you being a better basketball player. Now that you kind of really have an idea of where you are and where you want to be, when you come back next year, is it going to be pretty much state championship or bust for you?
Yes, I really want to try to get to the state championship. This year we only went to the first round of playoffs, and I really want to go farther than that because I feel like we have more in us than we actually gave.
It's very rare that we have sophomore winners of the Female Athlete of the Month, but it's even more rare to see a girl who is a sophomore that is a leader on her team. And I know you did that more this year than you did your first year. How are
Mhm.
you able to gain the trust of the older players to be such a great leader for them?
Yes, it is all about respect, and you have to respect is earned, it's not given. You have to earn respect, and you have to. Everybody's not the same, so you have to talk to everybody differently. And I really think that they admire that about me is that I don't come at everybody the same. Like some people need to be like some people you need to be hard on, and then some people you actually need to talk to.
You're such a tremendous point guard. When you look at other players, either female or male in the NBA or WNBA, who do you like to emulate your game after?
I like to emulate my game after Kyrie Irving. His skill set, it's amazing to me. His speed and his IQ, it's crazy.
Yeah, you look at the handles that he has, it's outrageous what he's able to do. And the Mavs, obviously, a big run for them in the Western Conference Finals. Do you see yourself in him a little bit when you see how well he's doing out there and being such a great leader for the team?
I do when it comes to having a voice on the court and also being able to visualize the whole court at once.
Well, you're such a multi-talented girl. I know you sing at church. You also play the piano. How much do you enjoy that and having all those eyes on you?
I enjoy it, like, for the most part because it's God is always first, and if it's for God, I will do literally anything.
Well, your mom is a beloved nurse in that community, and she's so selfless. She loves doing things for other people. Do you want to follow in her footsteps?
I do. I want to go to college to be an orthopedic surgeon, actually.
Wow. So where was the desire to do that?
It came from I used to want to be a pediatric surgeon, but I realized that I want to really like if sports doesn't work out full time and I don't go pro, I want to really focus on staying in that sports area and being able to work with things that does relate to sports.
Your mom tells a great story about how you've seen every single episode of Grey's Anatomy, and you've probably watched every series about 5, maybe 15 times. What in the world is going on there?
It's very exciting. It's actually a great show, actually. But it also keeps me with something to do. But I love hands-on stuff. So I love watching stuff like that.
Do you see yourself on that show and helping people?
I I can. The show's crazy, but I can.
Well, I know the classroom is so important to your mom. It's all A's and B's in your family. You come home with a C and she's going to withhold food or something, it's not going to be pretty. You have definitely followed all of that and what your mom wants you to do in the classroom. Why is it so important to you to not only be a great athlete, but to be a student athlete?
Because GPA is so important. If you don't have the GPA, then no college is really going to want you. That's why it's called student athlete. You're a student first and you're always an athlete second.
I look at your school there in Texarkana at Texas High, and it's such a unique community because you're literally on the border of 3 states. In Louisiana, they call it the Arklatex, I guess, in Arkansas, and then, of course, Texarkana on the Texas side of it. How would you describe it to somebody that has never been there?
It's very competitive, like because you do have all those schools like right there around you. So it can get very crazy. So you always have to watch the people you're around. Just choose the right group and you'll be fine.
Well, we know that everything kind of feeds through that great football team. Then what a great job that coach does out there. I have one of these laying around. What is it like on Friday nights watching Friday night high school football there?
It's crazy. I'm in this amazing program called sports medicine. So I actually get to actually sit on the field with all the football boys and the coaches, and I get to hear everything down there. Football Friday nights is like it feels like college at our school. Like it's so competitive. It's crazy.
It really feels like that whole program kind of feeds off of that great football team that is just a perennial power in the playoffs and advancing so far every single year after year. Do you feel like that winning kind of breeds winning in the other sports at that school?
It does. It makes the other sports want to do better. Like it not saying that other sports are in competition with football, but it just keeps them very focused. They want to be there too.
What do you want your legacy to be at that school?
I think I want it to be sports related, but I always want it to be also although she was a great athlete, she was also a beast in the classroom also.
Well, we love you being a beast on the court and in track and field, and of course in the classroom as well. A big congratulations on being the Class 5A Greater Texas Ford Dealers Female Athlete of the Month.
Thank you.
Your Greater Texas Ford Dealers is so proud to recognize the hard work, dedication, perseverance, and passion of so many Texas high school female athletes who inspire us all. Here's this month's winners. And don't forget, you can see their interviews at Greater TX Ford for Greater Texas Ford Dealers. From Class 1A to 6A, plus private schools, we celebrate them all. Thanks so much for watching the Greater Texas Ford Dealers inaugural Female Athlete of the Month. See you next time.